Welcome back to another episode of SmoothBrainEDH, where we make the smoothest plays with the biggest brains. This week, we're joined by ScoopPhase of the Bufftown Bullies for an exciting game of casual EDH. Let's see what everyone decided to pilot today. Up first is Ethan, who is on Urza, Chief Artificer. Ethan's deck is aiming to win by creating large artifact creature tokens, giving some evasion with his commander, and eventually beating his opponents down. Up next is Jason, piloting Edgar Markov. Vampires, vampires, and more vampires. This powerful commander aims to get out of control fast and overwhelm its opponents with an unstoppable vampire army. Our third player today is ScoopPhase of Bufftown Bullies on Go-Shintai of Life's Origin. This is a budget deck that uses Shrine and Enchantress support to outvalue his opponents. Last up is Caden on Magnus the Red. This is a token spellslinger deck using the value from Magnus's triggered ability to drastically reduce the cost of big, impactful instants and sorceries. We're about to get to the game, but before that, go ahead and give us a like and let us know which deck you're rooting for down in the comments below. We have links to our socials, public Discord server, Decklist, and Patreon in the description. Our channel is partnered with Dragon Shield, so if you're looking to pick up any new sleeves or magic-related product, check out our affiliate link in the description. Thanks to Dragon Shield for the code SMOOTH5, use that for 5% off your order at checkout. We're also partnered with Inked Gaming. Check out the affiliate link below if you want to pick up any custom playmats. Now, let's get to that game.
Hey, what's up? ScoopPhase, Bufftown Bullies. We're the paper CEDH crew from Buffalo, New York. We try to reduce some of the stigmas around the format. We promote education, inclusivity, all that good stuff locally. And I'm playing my Go-Shintai deck. We're going to go and cry.
Alright, let's get into it. Looks like Ethan wins the die roll, and he'll play a tapped Hollowed Fountain and pass. Jason will play a Command Tower and pass. ScoopPhase will play a Forest and pass. And Caden plays Riverglide Pathway and passes. Turn 1 land pass all around. Now back to Ethan's turn. He'll play Drowned Catacombs, then tap for 2 and cast Swiftfoot Boots. Then he'll pass to Jason. Jason will start off by shocking in a Godless Shrine, then he'll tap for 2 and cast Bartow, then pass to Scoop. Oh yeah, duh, Eminence trigger. Now on to Scoop's turn, he'll play a Swamp, then he'll tap for 2 and cast Fertile Ground onto his Forest. Then the turn is passed to Caden, and he'll play a Mountain, then cast Goblin Electromancer, and then the turn is passed to Ethan, who plays Academy Ruins as lane for turn, then he'll cast Dig Site Engineer, and the turn is passed to Jason. Jason starts off by moving to combat and hitting Scoop for 3. Then, post-combat, he'll play a Haunted Ridge as lane for turn. After this, he'll tap for 3 and cast Drana, and there is an Eminence trigger which makes him another 1/1, and then the turn is passed to Scoop. He'll start his turn off by tapping for 3 and casting Enchantress's Presence. Then he'll play Boros Garrison as lane for turn and bounce the Swamp back to his hand. The turn is then passed, and Caden starts with Care Keep as lane for turn. Then he'll tap for 3, and using the blue and colorless, he'll cast Frantic Surge. So he draws 2 and discards Rowell's Reinforcements and Sorcerer class, and then he untaps his lands. Then with the 1 red floating, he'll tap for another colorless and cast Young Pyromancer. After this, he'll tap for 2 and cast Lightning Greaves, equip them to the Young Pyromancer, and then the turn is passed to Ethan. He starts off by tapping for 3 and casting Foundry Inspector. Then he'll play Orzhov Basilica as land for turn, and bounce the Drowned Catacomb, then move to combat and hit Jason for 3, and then the turn is passed to Jason. Then he immediately moves to combat, and he'll swing Drana at Caden, his 2 1/1s at Ethan, and Bartow at Scoop. There are no blocks declared, and when Drana's first strike damage goes through, a 1/1 counter is put on all attacking creatures, so Ethan will end up taking 4, and Scoop will take 3. After combat, Jason will tap for 3 and slam a Wheel of Fortune.
Sigil,
I'll
Lost,
take
Grunstone
7.
Titan, Seal, Primordium, Weaver, Harmony, Swamp, and Demir Aqueduct.
Bloodline Keeper, Path to Exile, Door of Destinies, Bloodghast, and a Falcon Wrath Gorger.
Castle of Interest, a Cyclonic Rift, and a Third Path Iconoclast.
I had the Drowned Catacombs y'all knew about, a Godless Shrine, Desert Seeker, Sharding Sphinx, and Liberator.
That's what they all discard, and then they'll all draw 7 cards. After this, Jason will play Voldaren Estate as lane for turn, which triggers Bloodghast's landfall, so it returns to the battlefield. Then, with Voldaren Estate, he'll pay a life to add a black, and cast Master of Dark Rites. And this triggers Eminence again. The turn is then passed to Scoop, and he'll start off with a tapped Woodland Chasm. Then he'll cast his commander, Go-Shintai of Life's Origin. And this will get him a card, and then a 1/1 Shrine token. He'll then pass the turn, and he's got 8 cards in hand, so he'll discard Honden of the Seeing Winds in his cleanup. Now on Caden's turn, he'll start off with a Prismatic Vista as land for turn, and he'll immediately fetch with it for a basic island. Then he'll tap for 4 mana and cast Tolerand, Sky Summoner. He'll then pass to Ethan, who on his turn will start off with a Command Tower as land for turn. Then he'll cast an Ethereum Sculptor, and since it is an artifact creature, this will trigger his Dig Site Engineer, and he does pay the 2 to make a Construct. And then he'll cast an Arcane Signet for free, and he'll pay the 2 to Dig Site Engineer to make another Construct. And then he'll cast a free Steel Overseer. After this, he'll equip the Steel Overseer with Swiftfoot Boots and activate it to put a 1/1 counter on all of his artifact creatures. And then he'll pass the turn to Jason, who will immediately tap for 3 and slam Sorin Imperious Bloodlord. He'll uptick Sorin to sacrifice Bloodghast to deal 3 damage and kill the Dig Site Engineer, and Jason will gain 3 life. After this, he'll play a Mountain, and Bloodghast comes back, but it immediately gets Village Rites after that. After this, he'll activate Master of Dark Rites to sacrifice his 1/1 Vampire without a counter on it to add 3 black mana to his mana pool. And that mana +1 is used for a Sanctum Seeker, and Imminence will get him back that 1/1. Jason will then move to combat. Drana will go at Scoop, and then Barto and the crew will go at Caden. Sanctum Seeker triggers 4 times, draining everyone for 4, and Jason will gain 4. There are no blocks. Then Drana's first strike damage will hit Scoop for 3, and put a counter on all attacking creatures. And then Caden will take 10 in the normal damage phase. And then the turn is passed to Scoop. And he'll start off by tapping for 4 and casting Glare of Subdual. Enchantress's Presence will draw him a card, and then he'll play Arctic Treeline as land for turn. And then the turn is passed to Caden, where he'll start off with a Shivan Reef as land for turn. Then he'll cast Krenko's Command for only 1 mana. This will net him a total of 4 dudes, an Elemental, 2 Goblins, and a Drake. Then he'll move his Lightning Greaves over to Talrand, and then pass the turn to Ethan, who will start off by tapping for 3 and casting Urza, Chief Artificer. Then he'll activate Steel Overseer again to put another 1/1 counter on all of his artifact creatures. Then Ethan will move to combat and swing his 2 10/10s with Menace at Jason, and Jason will just take the 20. Then in post-combat main phase, Ethan will cast Padim, Console of Innovation. Then he'll pass the turn to Jason, and on end step, Urza makes him another Construct. Now on Jason's turn, he'll start off with a basic Swamp as land for turn, which once again triggers Bloodghast Landfall, returning it to the battlefield. And as if his Master of Dark Rites wasn't enough, Jason will cast Actual Factual Dark Ritual, which adds 3 black mana to his mana pool, and then he'll tap for an additional 2 to cast Vanquisher's Banner. It resolves, and I bet you can't guess what creature type he chooses. After this, he'll use Master of Dark Rites to sacrifice Bloodghast to add 3 black mana to his mana pool. He'll then use that mana and tap for Mardu to cast Edgar Markov, which will trigger Vanquisher's Banner, drawing him a card. Jason will then enter the combat step, but before he can declare attackers, Scoop will hold priority and activate Glare of Subdual twice by tapping his commander and his shrine token, and he chooses to tap down Drana and Edgar Markov. But Scoop has opened himself up, so Jason will declare Sanctum Seeker, a 3/3 token, and Bartolome at him. This will trigger Sanctum Seeker 3 times to drain everyone for 3, and Jason will gain 3. And then since Scoop can't block, he'll take the 10 damage. Psych, both me and Jason realized at the same time Vanquisher's Banner was out, so he'll take an additional 3, putting him down to 11. Post-combat, Jason will uptick Sorin and sacrifice his Dark Ritual Vampire to deal 3 damage to the little baby shrine, and he'll gain 3 life. And then the turn is passed. Scoop will start his turn off by tapping for 2 and casting Go-Shintai of Boundless Vigor. This will make him a 1/1 little shrine dude and draw a card off Enchantress's Presence. Then after this, he'll cast Sanctum of Shattered Heights, which also gets him another card and another 1/1 shrine. He'll then play a basic island as land for turn, and then pass the turn to Caden, who will stop on end step and essentially tap his entire board to convoke Transcendent Message X's 7. Oh, actually with the Goblin Electromancer, it's actually X's 8, so he'll add 8 fresh cards to his hand. This also triggers Talrand and the Pyromancer, so he'll get another Elemental and Drake. And then we move to his turn, and he'll start it off with a basic Mountain as land for turn. Then he'll tap that Mountain for a Battle Hymn. Both of his creature generators will trigger, so he gets another Drake and another Elemental. After those triggers resolve, he'll have 11 creatures, so he'll add 11 red to his mana pool. And the first thing he does with it is cast Birgi, God of Storytelling. Then he'll use 3 red and tap for an additional blue to cast Nanogene Conversion, targeting Birgi. Birgi, Talrand, and Young Pyromancer trigger. Scoop will respond by activating Shattered Heights, discarding a land to deal 4 damage to Birgi. Caden will also respond by casting a Brainstorm. More Birgi, Young Pyromancer, and Talrand triggers, and you know what, I'm lazy. I'm just going to say Caden cast triggers from now on. The Brainstorm will then resolve, then all the other triggers, meaning Birgi dies, and then the Nanogene Conversion will fizzle. After this, Caden will cast a Past in Flames. Cast triggers. He'll then immediately flashback Battle Hymn, more cast triggers, and this will make him 19 red mana. Caden then floats a blue with his Shivan Reef, taking a damage, and then pays a red to flashback Frantic Search. So he'll draw 2, discard 2, and then untap his blue sources. Oh yeah, and more cast triggers. He'll then cast an Izzet Signet, and then a Thought Vessel. And then we see Magnus hit the field. After this, Transcendent Message is flashed back, and by convoking with all of his creatures, Magnus's reduction and Goblin Electromancer's reduction, this is for X is 37. So yeah, Caden just casually draws 37 cards. Oh yeah, and don't forget, he gets another Drake in Elemental. Then Caden will pay 3 mana to cast Storm King's Thunder. And between Magnus and the Electromancer, X is 21. And he'll make another 2 tokens. Caden will then pay 2 red mana and slam Comet Storm, X is 23, and it is copied 21 times. So 22 copies of Comet Storm will absolutely decimate all of his opponents. And yeah, nobody can do anything about it, so Caden just wins the game off of an absolutely insane Magnus turn. Well everyone, there you have it. What an absolutely fun and crazy game of Magic the Gathering. I gotta say, as long as it doesn't happen every game, it's really fun to watch someone storm off. Ethan is usually our storm player, and he said he felt like a proud stepfather while watching Caden go off. Thank you so much to ScoopPhase from Bufftown Bullies for playing with us. We had a great time with you. We hope you join us again, or maybe we can play with you sometime. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to check out all of our links in the description. But that's enough from me today, so I hope you all have a smooth day.
Shrimp Alfredo?